Yeah. Do we
Hi,
want to
every-
acknowledge that this is take two?
yes, because I started filming literally right before you said that. So this is
Oh,
take two. Like literally, the first line is, "Do we want to acknowledge this is take two?" Hello, everybody. Uh, we were filming this episode, then Jack got a little nasty leg cramp, and I decided to pause. But I clicked the wrong thing, and the footage got deleted. That's what happens when you don't update your OBS.
yeah.
So
Quick bullet point through the first 10 minutes of the episode
yeah, we're
again.
just gonna machine gun a bit of this.
Uh,
Hi,
one of the
I'm
lines in the
I'm Jack.
recap.
No, I'm Neil. Fuck.
Oh, intros as well.
Yeah,
Okay, take three.
Jack has Moon Knight powers, and Khonshu gave me a mug. Fuck, we did a whole jump. Everything's ruined. This is arguably more funny, but everything's ruined now. We had so many dumb, stupid jokes that are just lost to the aether.
No, never gonna be seen again.
It was also better paced, but fuck it, this episode isn't that well paced, so it's fitting.
It's thematic.
Uh, I think we both agreed that we liked this episode of Moon Knight and thought, like, after Loki, this is probably the second best finale.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, but this was cooler. This had giant monsters fighting each other. Okay, machine gun. We thought the mustached corpse guy was funny and cool.
Yeah, being possessed by Tawara, it was cool.
Harrow's axe is symbolic of him being murdery. Yeah, murdery Harrow.
Murdery Harrow. I want to reiterate again, just because one of the lines in the recap at the start of the episode was Harrow's line from episode 2. Trust me when I tell you, there's always one last thing, and that ties in for at the end of the episode. There's that one last thing of Jake that we get into. That was a warning to Mark and Steven. That's very, very fitting for this episode and this story.
Season 2, Season 2, Season 2, Season 2.
It is released. They go to the Pyramid of Giza, and Harrow off-screen beats all the other Egyptian gods.
Yeah. Actually, I do want to draw a little more attention to this because you actually brought it up. I thought it was at first that it didn't make a lot of sense for Osiris to let Steve and Mark pass through for no reason. Like, there's a line where it's like, Osiris, you old softy. Jack actually found the real reason Osiris lets them through, which is his avatar is actually the one who tells Lila, or Layla, they need more avatars. So him letting them go is actually him still trying to fight Ahmed, which I think is very fucking interesting. And
yeah. So, to bind Ahmed, we need an assembly of avatars, and we've all just been killed, so...
Oh, yeah. I think it's very interesting and kind of subtle storytelling that's why he let them through.
Yeah, that's not directly stated to the audience, which, again, could just be a thing of the pacing of this episode.
Yeah. Honestly, and I'm going to be real, I think Disney needs to take advantage of the fact that it's on a streaming platform more and just shoot longer episodes. Because they seem to think that if they do more than 50 minutes, people are going to get bored. Which we're not.
No, but I think you do potentially, you start verging on, if you start reaching an hour, it's like, okay, cool. Your episodes are getting to the point of, this can be shown in a cinema. This is long enough to be a movie at this point.
I feel that, but I would have gone I think this episode specifically needed 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Either 15 as is with 15 more minutes, or take a lot more time like all the previous episodes have, and just split this into 2 episodes and go a lot more into the characters.
Yeah, this episode was less about character depth and was more about just a fun action-y ending, which I am okay with. For the finale specifically.
We got the massive, we got the big. Yeah, we got the conclusion of Mark's character arc.
We cried in the last episode. We don't need to cry in this one.
Your emotional pathos and everything was last episode.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, actually, because it is this episode where the two of them come together and
Well,
everything in front of the gates. But yeah,
I guess I was gonna talk about this at the end, but like one of the things I wanted from this season was I kind of wanted to see Mark reunite with his dad after that episode. And maybe that will happen in season 2. But for
yeah,
me, the perfect ending, before post-credit scene would have been he wakes up, he like goes to the museum, we see like they've stepped up their lives a little bit, and the last shot before the post-credit scene is him opening the door and saying hi to his dad.
Hmm.
That would have been nice for me. That would have been a nice way to end everything. And then the post-credit scene of like Jake is still working with Khonshu would have been an even bigger twist, because we would have been like, ah, shit, I thought we wrapped everything up. Well, fuck.
yeah. No, I can see them talking with the dad and addressing that being a season 2 thing. Yeah. But on this episode, and still catching up, Amit's released design. Love Amit's design. The CG's not perfect. It doesn't look entirely photorealistic, but it looks pretty dang good. And again, I love the design, sort of the wrappings along the snout and draping out of the mouth, and as we said, the hair into the tail is brilliant. And love that idea. Whoever came up with that on the
All my
design team.
friends think she's hot,
Mm.
which I do not think she's hot. But more power to you, man.
Yeah. Then Khonshu is freed, and Layla shoots him down before he even finishes asking the question.
Which kind of sucks, because I wanted to see her Moon Knight costume.
Eh.
But it's okay. She gets a badass costume later when she becomes Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah. And then, okay, this has caught up very quickly to where we were, however long that took us to get there originally.
Yeah, now I'm ashamed of us for taking so slow. Well, we went in and we properly talked about shit and we broke it down. We did a good job, Internet.
Yeah. If you don't believe us, complain in the comments.
Also, this episode is not late.
Yeah, no, we're recording this episode on the day that the show ended.
Doctor Strange isn't out yet. We haven't seen
Episode
it.
6, Gods and Monsters.
This is the only Marvel thing we have to talk about today, and we're not filming the Doctor Strange episode after this.
Absolutely not.
So, yeah, is this where it goes back to Mark in the Field of Reeds?
Yep.
I do like that Mark actively has to give up, air quotes, heaven in order to get Steven back. And it kind of shows how much they really do care about each other at this point. Because these two have been through hell, and they've really needed, like, they figuratively and literally needed each other to get through life.
I was going to say, and they figuratively and literally have been through hell, yes.
Yeah. That is also true. Ironic. But, I loved that line of, the only superpower I've ever had is you.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's a great line.
It's cheesy, but it's definitely it's a fucking superhero show, so I'll take it. It's a comic book movie. Everything's cheesy a little. There's a giant ass moon on his forehead.
Chooses to leave the Field of Reeds, goes back for Steven, and they're both freed from the sand by sharing the heart, or just by, again, Osiris sort of opens the gates, so perhaps Osiris has brought them back.
Well, I did notice, and this may be because they were like buddy now, but you'll notice there was no like forced transition. Like they didn't have to force their way into the mind anymore. They just casually sunk into each other, like they changed very easily. Like, the outfit didn't even transition, really. It's just one shot, you see Moon Knight, oh, he's Mr. Knight now. So,
yeah.
I think...
There's one... Well, during the fight scene, there's a few transitions, but yeah, that it's so quick, so free between the two of them.
I love that, because it's like them teaming up and double-teaming Khonshu. Even though it is
It's a tag team fight.
It's one person talking to Khonshu, but two people are double teaming him, and they keep changing outfits. It's great. Also, I'm just gonna say it. I kind of like Mr. Knight better than Moon Knight.
Yeah, Yeah, I think I've thought that since episode 2.
I just love the whole Colonel Sanders joke from that episode. Because every time I see that outfit, I'm like, yeah, he does kind of look like Colonel Sanders in a fancy outfit.
Yeah. But Mark and Steven are revived. They run towards the now open gates. There's a big sand tsunami coming, and
So,
Tawara comes and breaks the wave with that Osiris who makes off the line of Osiris knows we need more avatars to combat Amit. Let's get these two back.
so around now is when the building starts breaking, right?
Yes, Amit and Khonshu start fighting here, and then I think Harrow brings down the building, sort of end that fight.
So here's the thing. I think that the reason Layla takes on Tourette as her avatar is because of what Osiris's avatar said. Like, we need more. I thought she was going to go to that statue area and start just popping off Egyptian gods. Like, breaking them out, and, like, we were going to get, like, an army of Egyptian avatar gods, Moon Knight-esque outfits, fighting. Which, honestly, I think what happens is cooler because we get more focus on Lila's transformation into Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah.
But Tourette fucks her over.
But the whole show I've been saying is like, yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for when Layla gets in there to free Khonshu, they're just going to smash all of those statues or something. And I'm still sticking with that idea because then, for season 2, there can be more Egyptian gods with avatars walking the earth, because if this chamber inside the Pyramid of Giza has collapsed, all those statues in there could get crushed and they can all be freed. Just saying.
Or maybe just one really bad one for season 2?
Yeah.
Who knows? I do think that Tourette temporarily fucked her over, though, because, like...
Yeah?
I guess she got overexcited. She,
Oh, yeah.
She gives Layla
she gives away
away.
her position.
Just yelling, Layla! And you see this poor actor with his mouth open wide when he's supposed to be dead. With a hippopotamus's voice just coming out of him. This is a weird fucking show.
Yeah.
I adore it.
I like
but
the
it's
line in Khonshu and Amit's back and forth of Amit saying, for a god, you were very low on faith. There's a lot of good barbs sort of back and forth between them. And then my favorite little interaction between Khonshu and Mark happens here when they come back and Khonshu sort of dips out the fight because he realizes he just senses Mark Spector is back on this plane of reality. Okay, here we go. And Khonshu says, as he comes out, I knew you'd miss me. To which Mark then jokes back, Layla turned you down. I like that sort of bickering exes. And as soon as Mark, Layla turned you down, didn't she? Khonshu, so okay, down to business then. I'm ending this here. I'm not talking about this. Yeah. I'm not talking about how she rejected me.
It is kind of cool to see that Mark and Steven have, they're like, no, we're going to barter, we're going to negotiate. Yep. If we're doing this,
But with so much at stake? Yeah, why not?
I mean, here's the thing, and I gotta be real. The Avengers should have showed up. Not necessarily this episode, but the second shit started going so weird with the moon, and then when shit started happening with giant kaijus, I don't think legitimately, I don't want the Avengers to pop up because, I think the show is better without them. But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck were they doing where they didn't show up for this kaiju thing?
I mean, I can imagine it being sort of a line. If this took place back during sort of Phase 1 or Phase 2, I can 100% see Nick Fury walking along with Hill behind him. Of that unscheduled eclipse, and just throw away lines to know, S.H.I.E.L.D. was monitoring all this, or knew something was up, at least.
I'm just saying, what if that kaiju battle, just halfway through, Ant-Man's fist comes in too and he joins in?
And Amit just bites his arm off.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the guy's got to fight Kang in his next movie, so he's dying either way.
Yeah. I made a note of this and I did a bit of fan art that you can find over my Instagram at JackPewestArt. When Khonshu and Steven are then talking, and Steven says, "Ah, you silly old bird." I've just written in my notes, "Silly old bird, Pooh Bear."
Yeah.
Just the "you silly old bear" is such a Christopher Robin line. So there's a bit of fan art of the two of them.
I don't know like how many people follow Jack's art channel on Instagram that watch the show, but legitimately it's worth it just to see that Khonshu Christopher Robin Mr. Knight art. It's so fucking cute.
Yeah. I drew that. I'm like, okay, immediately make a note so I remember to sketch it and then draw it out later. Yeah. But then, yep, Khonshu says the line, and everyone knows, yeah, this is that one last thing. I will release you both.
One person didn't get released. Yeah. I mean, Jake definitely confirmed has at least 2 appearances in this episode.
Yeah.
So the rest of this episode mostly is the fight scene, right?
Khonshu said, I'm still the god of the night sky, and
I'm sorry, but
flies off into the fight, and then we get the fight.
The delivery of that line was so cheesy in the best way for me, where he's
absolutely
like he's trying to be big and bold, but Moon Knight's just sitting there as he's like gesturing and looking to the stars, turning it into night. I love that shit. I gotta laugh out of that.
Harrow's on top of the pyramid, starts chanting, and all of his followers get the scales and the ability to judge people, which was it's one of the things of like, oh yeah, this is sort of that big of a threat when it's just followers of Amet judge everyone. Yeah, all these people around the world. In this moment, it's just in Cairo that we're doing this, but it's like, yeah, no, you can just go to however big this cult is, and it'll spread as we go. Just go around, hold people's hand. If they're worthy, they'll join you. If they won't, they die.
I'm just saying, there needs to be a shot later where one of the Avengers, I don't care which one, let's say that it's Ant-Man because I like making fun of him. Scott just needs to be sitting down, have like a cup of coffee, and he needs to be holding a newspaper that says giant bird and alligator fight in Egypt. Also, random people die after touching people with weird tattoos.
Murderous tattoo cult and crocodile connected.
The story on the back is about that giant egg thing happening in Eternals. So many plot points. Just the Avengers are just, they're on vacation. They're hanging.
I mean, as Steven puts it in Multiverse of Madness, it's like, couldn't you have gone to any of the other Avengers? What? The Archer, several bug-themed superheroes.
Jack, that movie's not out yet.
Tony, Thor, a lot of the big players are a bit MIA at the moment.
That's true, but don't they have, like, contact with Captain Marvel? They could call her.
Yeah, I suppose, the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, you got Bruce, Wong, Carol, Rhodey, War Machine.
Hulk is hanging out in a random hut.
On a beach somewhere. The She-Hulk trailer has come out, for reference of when we're recording this.
Yeah, we've seen the She-Hulk trailer. Frogman is coming, baby. I'm so fucking pumped.
Yep, Tawar's temporary avatar, Lila. We get the Scarlet Scarab outfit and everything. Again, totally different from whatever it was in the comics. Apparently, having never read any Moon Knight ones. I do want to read the Jeff Lemire run. because that's the one everyone compares to, and it's sort of that one where there's
Mm.
was it all in his head? Because the first shot and the last shot are the same thing, or is it? I definitely want to check that one out because that took a lot of. I know the show
From,
took a lot of visual cues from that.
from what I have read, Scarlet Scarab was originally either a villain or a hero himself, but apparently in the show, Scarlet Scarab, the original, the comic book version, is just Layla's dad.
Okay.
Which is why there's a reference to Tuaret being like, I've met your dad in the field of reeds. Like, I think it's slightly suggested that the reason Tuaret wants to pick Layla is because there's a friendship between Tuaret and her dad. But again,
I like that idea.
a lot of the shit in this episode is kind of like, we got to get this information out because we don't have a ton of time to do this shit.
I think my reading was more, yeah, her dad was just an archaeologist whose like pet name for her was My Little Scarab or something. And then, yeah, the two of them were friends when, Tomer took him to the Field of Reeds, and I can imagine him. Because, again, I think they say in episode 4 or 5 that her dad had a theory that that the Egyptian gods walked among us.
Yeah.
So I can imagine him and Tomer just being fucking ecstatic on that boat ride.
I mean, confirmed in the comics, her dad is Scarlet Scarab. Like the character of Lila, to my knowledge, is not connected to Scarlet Scarab at all. But here she is, and I think it's fine because once again, like there's a line and it's a little cheesy, just like the superpower line, but I like it where it's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "Hell yeah," or something like that. I love the outfit.
Everyone compares it to, and yeah, better than that Wonder Woman scene in the Justice League.
Freaking, with that costume, I was looking at it and I was like, oh man, that could have been cooler. I mean, it's alright, but that's not too cool. Then she pops the wings and I'm like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Yep. Fuck yeah, Lila. Let's go. So here's the thing. This fight scene is awesome. I love Mr. Knight getting involved. I love the little dialogue exchanges. This is a great fight scene. You see Ahmed and Khonshu fighting in the background. It's really, really cool. Here's the thing. I get that it's kind of the theme of the show, but this is my first major problem. This is my first, you shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
When they're finally done with the fight scene, or finally done air quotes, because it looks like Mark's about to lose. Mark's about to be killed. And then it cuts and he suddenly won the fight. I hated that. I was like, no, I don't like that. Because here's the thing. In the first episode, it was really cool. Because you're trying to figure out what's happening. You see, what's left of the battle after Mark has popped in. It's dope. And they do that one or two times when they're trying to confuse you in the fight scenes in episode 3, where you're trying to figure out, what is going on here? Between Mark, these guys he's fighting, Steven trying to get out of the fight altogether, and then Jake. But here, it just felt like you're denying us this battle we've been building up to this whole time. This big fight between Harrow and Moon Knight. We don't see how Steven and Mark triumph. And I get it. I get that Jake takes over. I get it. But, what if, just roll with me for a minute, what if the Moon Knight suit would have changed to the black and white one from the comics, and we actually would have seen Jake fight, and we would have seen that he was more brutal?
So would you have been okay with it if we saw Jake take over and we actually saw that fight?
Yes, I would have been fine with it if we saw the fight.
So why don't you like it as is? That we just cut over it? Because either way, it's still not Mark and Steven triumphing. It's still Jake stepping in and doing it himself.
I think I like it this way because, imagine if Mark's eyes change, the suit starts to change, and the music starts to get, scary, and we see Moon Knight brutalize these fuckers. Like, let's see him, like, stab people with the moon, like, start killing people. Very graphically, you see, like, freaking Layla watching, and she's just horrified. He's about to do the same thing to Harrow, and then Layla yells, "Mark!" And then Mark comes back, and then the scene resumes, and he's like, "You didn't do this, did you, Steven?" I would have liked that better, because legitimately without the fight, like, it literally feels like you cut the climax to me. Like, it feels like
I get that.
I didn't see Harrow get defeated, you know? Like, 1 minute he's about to win, the next he's on the ground passed out. And that feels like a cheat for me. I'm sure it didn't bug other people, but for me, I was like, I really would have liked to see that fight, actually.
Yeah, I can. Now that you've explained it, I totally see where you're coming from. For me, though, I thought that was great because you had the rest of the fight. Because I mean, how much fight is there until that happens? It's they fly in. Again, the switching between the two of them throughout the fight's great. The fight basically starts at 25-minute mark. Mark, and then yeah, so there's a good 5-6 minutes of the fight before that cut happens. So that was enough to satisfy me, and we get again the Mark and Steven switching out. I love once they come flying from the Pyramid of Giza to just the street. Harrow is like clutching onto Moon Knight's cape, so they switch to Mr. Knight, so the cape isn't there anymore, and then switch back to Moon Knight to use the cape to land.
I loved that shit.
I love the tiny back and forth, again, the throwing the billy club, and then Moon Knight catching it, and Steven using the billy clubs, you know? Just that when we... What are these? From episode 2. I enjoyed the fight scene enough as is, and again, we kept Jake a mystery the whole way through for that reveal in the post credits, and I'm sure we will get more of that in season 2. I think we almost definitely will see that exact thing you're talking about in season 2.
I'm just
not saying. With Harrow and everything because he's out of the picture, but
here's how I'll compare it. For me, imagine if you're watching Spider-Man No Way Home, though, right? Mm-hmm. And fucking Peter is standing on Captain America's broken shield. He's about to fight Green Goblin. Green Goblin's, like, doing his whistle. He, like, gets the blade out. And Peter says, "I just want to kill you myself." And then Green Goblin goes, "That a boy." And then it immediately cuts to, like, him getting stabbed in the neck with the cure. Wouldn't you have felt a little like...
So at that moment, Peter, too, threw it and it stabbed him in the neck or something.
Yeah, instantly, like, Peter won! And then he webs it and then he stabs him in the neck. No fight. That's how that feels for me. Because Harrow, and Harrow dies in this episode. So there isn't going to be probably another Harrow fight. And, you know, I really wanted to see him struggle. I wanted to see it happen. I guess. I don't know. Maybe it just bugged me, but man, it bugged me.
That's fair. I think I'm fine with it. Because also, sort of throughout the show, Harrow has been more of this charismatic, I don't want to say cerebral sort of enemy, but he sort of had that role. So not seeing him in a prolonged fisticuffs doesn't bother me. But I 100% see where that's coming from. And yeah, had that happened, I think, yeah, so in that example in Spider-Man, you know, it is the Green Goblin versus Peter. It's like, yeah, that would have been more of a brawly fight. But no, I get that. I'm curious how many other people feel that way. I haven't seen that argument much online, but now that you've brought that up, I do see it.
Yeah. I mean, I also, am a little annoyed because then we cut to the kaiju fight and Khonshu has now lost, and I'm like, where's that? I wish we could have seen how Ahmed beat Khonshu.
Yeah. I think the prolonged fight, you get that line at some point. Oh, I think it's when they first see each other again. time has not been kind to you. Which makes me wonder if, maybe last time they saw each other, Khonshu was a proper, like, living bird. It's
Yeah,
just been that long and he was banished and everything that he's just withered and corroded and
I think that like the if there would have been, oh god, I'm trying to think of how I would fix it, and I think I would
yeah,
literally
I'm
just.
looking for the blow that sort of brings down Khonshu.
Mm,
Oh, so it was after that. Oh, this wasn't you, Stephen. No, and then they both, Mark and Layla, look up to the
mm,
sky to see, yeah, Khonshu being dragged along the ground by Ahmet. So yeah, that does happen off screen.
yep. The
Perhaps that was a moment with Khonshu and Jake. Maybe something happened with the two of them there that put Khonshu on the back foot or something. We
maybe
we just don't know. Yeah.
maybe Jake zapped energy from Khonshu or something. I don't know.
Mm,
Maybe that's something he can do where he can take more of Khonshu's power. Who knows?
perhaps.
But
Tune in for season 2 to find out.
yeah, they do the spell. Uh,
Yeah.
Ahmed is put into Harrow, and it's like kill him, and Mark won't do it.
Yeah, I was a little thrown off by that initially because it's like, oh, so rather than trapping her in stone so we can put her on a shelf and be done with it, it's rather than having Harrow be a vessel, like the Avatar, instead she's literally in him, which I was really thrown off by. But then on the second time I watched it and took on my notes, I was just like, oh, so Harrow's a Horcrux.
Yeah, yeah.
He's Nagini. He's a living Amit Horcrux, and he's the only one. So kill him. Dead. Put
Yeah,
in a living vessel with the weeping angels. It's like, it's made of creature made of stone, and you can't kill a stone. Versus this is a guy. Just shoot him, job done. Fair
yeah.
enough.
The thing I came to is like you can't kill Ahmed, but since Ahmed is now inside Harrow, to some degree, Ahmed is now mortal, so you can kill her now.
Yeah.
And that kind of ends up happening. This is where I have my second problem with the episode.
Okay. With like the
When
Harrow being with Amit being bound sort of
no,
scene.
no, 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 that was fine. I didn't mind that, and I didn't mind them choosing not to kill him. It's
Hmm.
when
I
Con.
like the do it yourself
Oh
line as
yeah,
Mark walks away.
it's when Khonshu frees Steven and Mark.
Hmm.
I don't like that it cuts back to the bed. I would have liked to see like I
Uh,
I don't know if I mentioned this in
it
this.
goes from Khonshu freeing them to the mental asylum again.
Oh yeah, that I liked. I forgot about
Yeah.
this scene actually. Sorry, it's been a while since we watched this.
No, it hasn't. This is day one.
Dude, they just confirmed there's going to be a Daredevil new season today. We know
Oh,
about the Marvel future. Oh, did you not hear about that?
I didn't hear that. What's that on?
It's all over Instagram and got confirmed today.
Nice.
It's in development, is what they're saying.
Okay. Well, Marvel
Uh,
Studios.
I don't know if it's on officially Marvel Studios, but it got like announced by like, you know how the like companies do, where they're like, yes, there's going to be this. It's everywhere. It's confirmed.
Okay.
Um, but what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah. So
So there's the scene in the hospital. Uh,
I like
and again,
that.
Mark and Steven sort of freely switching between the accent and back and forth and everything. The bloody footprints of Harrow. Finally, a payoff for the first scene of the whole series of Harrow breaking the glass and putting it in the sandals. And you see the trail of blood he has walked and the people he has killed and all that.
Yeah,
Before
I like this scene a lot
every
because
day I
it's.
wake up, then I start to pray.
I love that fucking song for the show,
Yeah.
but I
We've
like
added it to the playlist at work. It's,
I like this scene a lot because like it's kind of in a way this kind of becomes the final confrontation
Hmm.
between Harrow and Mark because in my head, and this is totally in my head, so maybe it's not a thing.
much like this scene.
This kind of feels like Ahmed's last attempt to be like, hey, maybe you are crazy. Maybe we can drive Mark Spector crazy and undo all of this. And for me, when he chooses, like, he's like, we're going to go be a goddamn superhero, or whatever he says.
Hmm.
And, like, Harrow's feet start bleeding and the illusion finally starts to fade. For me, that is the acceptance of, like, yeah, no, you used to be Khonshu's thing. I used to be Khonshu's thing. We're both done. And you're just going to have to live out the rest of your life being miserable because you tried to hurt all these people. But me and Steven, we're reclaiming our lives. We're taking it back, Harrow. I like that scene a lot. I do
Yeah.
not like that it immediately pans to him just waking up, and then they end the show after he like gets up and falls again.
Yeah. And a lot of people seem to think that was quite an abrupt cut there, because I like that scene, and I don't know how I would have necessarily ended it differently. But having the Mark wakes up, sort of seeing where Steven's lived and everything, and again, like they both do, forgets that he's tied to the bed, face plant. Cool.
I would.
I like that scene. I think it's very weird that we then cut to credits, but yeah.
I would have liked it if we could have seen like maybe a short time jump where like, you know, Steven's got a better job at the museum. He's happier there. Maybe the way they like structure this scene, you could have some narration. They show him like reuniting with his dad, and if you want to end it on a joke, they could show that the narration of these scenes being told to the audience is actually Steven and Mark talking to Crowley, the fucking statue guy again. And then
Okay,
the
no,
last shot
like
of
that.
the last shot of the episode could be Crowley just looks at him and goes, "Are you insane? Fucking alligators in the pyramids? Giant bird skull people? Are you fucking crazy?" And then the last line.
The turns to look at him. Are you insane? It cuts to the credits, or turns to look at him. Stop talking to me.
I would love it if it's like, I want it to be Crowley goes, "Are you insane?" And then Mark looks to the camera and goes, "Maybe we were." And then it just ends. I feel like that's a good way to end the show. Every day
I like that.
up.
I was like the montage of our reuniting with the dads, and Moon Knight running across rooftops, and Steven with a better job, and whatever. I think that would have. I like that idea of the framing device with talking to Crawley there. I think that would have been quite rushed. I feel. If this episode had been given breathing space and time to break that down and everything, and have actual scenes of it rather than just a montage or something, yeah.
That's why I said this episode needs like 15 extra minutes, man, so I can get my Harrow v Moon Knight proper climax, and then I can get like a little bit of cut telling me what's going on. Because I actually have questions because it ended so weirdly. Did Layla give up her partnership with Tuaret? Is she no longer a superhero?
I think she very well might have. I can see her having done that, but I can also see her sort of like, I inspire people like that girl. I kind of enjoy this. I'm good at it, and perhaps sticking with it for a bit. Almost like I could see Layla having a moment, almost like the end of the first Venom, the Tom Hardy Venom movie, where it's like, oh yeah, Venom's dead. Oh yeah, we finished our temporary Avatar partnership. And then, in that scene, it's like, oh, yeah, it's a shame Venom's gone. And it's just the voice in his head, like, kiss her now. But no, he's still around.
Honestly, and I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I'm going to say it anyways. You know how Echo is getting her own TV show after her appearances in Hawkeye? I would have preferred that for Layla. I want a Scarlet Scarab TV show over that. Like, I think Layla has, from the beginning, been a pretty cool character. Yeah. And now that she has like fucking wings and throwable swords, and Tuareg is of course like a really cool character as well. I don't know. I want to see more Layla.
Yeah.
I just hope she keeps popping up. But
Absolutely.
that is Moon Knight episode 6, and that is the end of Moon Knight. Hopefully, season 1. Besides,
but then there's the post-credit scene.
Yeah. Insane Asylum Harrow's just hanging out. Now, here's the thing. When I saw the glove, for a brief second, I don't know if this makes me dumb, but for a brief second, I was like, "Is that Blade? Is that Blade?" There's someone wearing leather. Is that Blade? But no, it was just Jake.
You say, sounding disappointed.
I mean, I'm excited, but we knew Jake was coming. We knew.
Yeah.
I think the bigger reveal of that is that now in season 2, it kind of seems like Khonshu is going to be somewhat of an enemy to Mark and Steven, which I like. Because I'm just really excited because, we fell in love with Steven. Mark took a little while, but I ended up really liking and feeling for Mark too. In my mind, Mark created Steven because he was scared of his mom. But then I noticed in the scenes, like, well, Steven doesn't know that his mom abused them, right? So that means Steven couldn't have been the one that got hit. So that had to be Jake. And I wonder if Jake, as a personality, literally he only came out whenever they were getting hurt. So I'm really curious to see how unhinged Jake might be.
And I like that idea. I've seen that floated around a lot, but we have. So Mark, the one who sort of Mark doesn't really count, but Steven, who is in sort of denial of the abuse, and then having Jake be this one who perhaps embraced it, or the one who's been actually, mentally traumatized by it. I like that idea of having that be the angle that we go at with Jake here.
There is
because again, he has come out, at least in this episode, in a moment where they were about to be seriously hurt.
Yeah, I legit believe that when we do start seeing a personality for Jake Lockley, he's going to be fucked. And I am very excited for that because we have this cool duo dynamic with Steven and Mark now. So throwing in this, like, violence-hungry guy who is totally working behind their backs to, like, team up with Khonshu, that feels like, to me, that's going to be an interesting season. Especially because they don't know that Jake exists yet. They know that there's another personality, but they know it's not Jake. They don't know it's Jake, actually. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. This has reminded me more and more presently, because I just finished watching it myself. If you've ever seen the show Misfits.
I have not.
No, it's this British... I don't know when it came out. It recently came on UK Netflix, so I and a few people have been binging it recently. It's 5 seasons. It's like, in London, this is with young offenders on community service, and one day this storm rolls in over London and no one knows what it is. A bunch of people are hit by lightning and they all develop superpowers. It's a really fun show with a bunch of bizarre powers and stuff. Your typical ones, but then some bizarre ones that I absolutely love the creativity of. But one of the characters introduced in a later series, and slight spoilers for, I think it's season 5, that one of the characters, his power is that he sort of splits in two, and I think they even say it's like, I'm the literal manifestation of his split personality. And it's the two of them, and one of them is more the Mark, more the Steven. And then in one episode, they reveal there was a third one who's just been in prison this whole time. I'm like, oh, and that's the Jake. There we go. And he is the more brutal one, the more violent one. But in there, it's handled completely differently in that the Mark personality sees when they discover he's gotten out of jail. A ukulele is just left in their flats. Oh no, no, mate! I told you we can't have it there. You know who it reminds me of? And then throughout the third personality's like violent, brutal scenes, the music score is just ukulele music. So he's like brutalizing homeless people.
I might have to watch the show Misfits now. This sounds
It's really good
awesome.
fun. If you've seen, have you seen Umbrella Academy?
I have not seen Umbrella Academy, and everyone says I'm
Okay,
a heretic for not watching it yet.
season three is about to come out. You should watch it. But for those watching this, if you've seen Umbrella Academy, the actor who plays Klaus, who has the ability to talk to the dead,
Mm.
this is one of his earliest roles, and he is immortal and able to talk to the dead. And,
So is this not a new show?
no, this is an old show, but it just recently came to Netflix. Um, for UK Netflix anyway. And it's a good sort of it's like a sitcom-y monster of the week superhero show with a bunch of teenagers who either just want rid of the powers or think they're useless or wants to use them, but their power is completely bog standard.
Mm.
It's really good fun. It does drop off in later seasons in quality, but I recommend. Weird tangent, but the literal
Shout out to
manifestation of so and so's
Misfits.
split personality was funny. Very, very Moon Knight.
So what did you think of the whole season of Moon Knight? Because I actually looking back, I think I really liked this show. I think it
I
broke my
think,
top 10.
yeah, if we just, I think, scoring this episode to then compare and look back over the rest of the show, I think I give this one. I think I dropped this finale down to an 8, I think.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
8 and a 7.
You know, 15 is not a bad number out of 15 out of 20. That's fine.
Yeah. That is a big drop off from where we were at last episode, and it is the lowest rated episode of Moon Knight.
Well, to be fair, this is the first episode where, number one, they kind of give up the mystery a bit.
Yeah.
And number two, like, this episode is not about the deep dive and, like, character development. This is about finishing the story we've set up.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, like, when we look back, we're going to think about, oh, man, when they're in the insane asylum and they have to go through each other's memories. Or we're going to think about, oh, when fucking Mr. Knight put his hands up to the sky and then everything started rotating. We're going to think about the really cool moments that, like, impacted us. And in this episode, while there were awesome moments, very good moments in this episode, just the others were deeper, you know?
Yeah, none of the moments in this episode impacted me as much as the other ones. They're still really good, just not as much. Yeah.
I would say the best moment in this episode is Lila getting her powers in the wings. That is the best moment of the episode for me.
I think I'll think of the post-credit scene.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a
Yeah.
tease for the future, though.
Yeah. But just when I was thinking of, so as we said, Marcus even rolling back the sky and everything, just that image, just thinking, what was a standout image from this episode? For me, it's Khonshu sitting there, legs crossed, wearing the suit in the back of the limo.
You know what? I will say there is one other standout scene for me when he, like, puts the heart in Steven's hand and they both turn to stone. That was a pretty damn good scene.
And like Amit's introduction and stuff, a bunch of good scenes, just nothing phenomenal this episode, which is fine. So yeah, episode 1 we gave a 17. Episode 2, 17.5. Episode 3, back down to 17. Episode 4 went to 18.5. Episode 5, 20 out of 20. And then episode 6 down to 15.
Episode 5 was pretty damn perfect. Like, when you think of a Moon Knight episode, they kind of told the origin story in the best possible way they could.
Yeah.
Like, they handled so much that episode, and it was great. Including a big-ass hippo lady.
I think I dare say, sort of, without actually flicking back through previous shows, I think this might be one of the most consistent that we've ranked.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, 17, 17.5, 17, 18.5, 20. Up till that last one, we sort of stayed within that range.
Oh, yeah. And it got better every episode.
Yeah.
Until this one.
Yeah. Which, yeah, still well above average, you know?
If anyone is still following the Neil Marvel list, Moon Knight has taken the place of Avengers Age of Ultron, which was number 6. Moon Knight is now number 6. Age of Ultron has dropped to 7. The only things on top of Moon Knight are number 1, Loki, number 2, Captain America First Avenger, number 3, Spider-Man No Way Home, number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy, and number 5, Infinity War. Which, like, to be fair, I think that's very high praise for the show. I legit am, like post-season...
You think the Moon Knight is better than Endgame, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Endgame is, like, right below Captain America Civil War, which is number 9.
Yeah, it's all your top 10, but no, that's how you rank it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My top 10 is so weird, and occasionally I go in and I'm like, is this how I feel? Because I had the original Amazing Spider-Man very high for a little while, and I think the reason I did that is because I am so used to defending that movie. Like, I am a champion for Amazing Spider-Man, but I had to have this conversation with myself where I was like, do you really like that movie better than Thor Ragnarok? And I was like, no, I don't.
yeah, I get that.
But yeah, ladies and gents, that's our Moon Knight review done. Jack, you got anything to... Yeah, fucking we finished it. After all these delays and technical difficulties, we got it fucking done. So, Jack, you got anything to plug?
Yeah. Again, you can check out Jack Beerstar on Instagram, where we've got that wee Mark and Stephen and Khonshu, you silly old bird fan art. Link to that will be in the description.
That art is legit awesome, guys. Like, seriously.
Cheers. I'm going to redo it at some point. I want to do a bigger version of it, because I did draw it quite small on that background. But no, and also check me out at Jack of All Trades on YouTube, where at the minute we are covering JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. It's been good fun. It has been JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the first half of the season, well, first half of the current season. And now, with sort of episodes 5 and 6, it has hit that bizarre stride again, and it's back to full JoJo's insanity once more. So if you want to check out my thoughts and commentary on that, check me out over there.
Adventures be bizarre, man. Especially when anime.
Yeah.
I will be uploading streams from Twitch more often. I know I've said that before, but I've already got a couple downloaded, so they should be up relatively soon. I'm going to upload this, and then I'm going to upload our Doctor Strange video, which that will be filmed soon, maybe today. We'll see.
Definitely not in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. But, if you guys like my stuff, I do have to recommend you follow me on Twitch, because that is the majority of the place where I do my gameplay stuff. So, twitch.tv/Dr. Neiltopus. Also, me and my friend Kyle are finally filming the shit we keep saying we're going to film. Some of it has been filmed, so it's actually going to happen this time. I am sorry for the delay, but shit's on the way, man. Be excited. You're getting things. Also, I'm proud to say that Cher is going to be back in future episodes of Disney Plus Pals, including one we may be doing on the new Rescue Rangers movie. So hopefully, like, I know there are some people who treat this show as a book club. So if you wanna watch that before uh, next week, that should be when we're doing Rescue Rangers. And final thing I have to plug is I am such a Disney fanboy that I am actually probably starting a second Disney podcast. However, this one is even more specific. We will be covering specifically and only Once Upon a Time and going through every single episode of it. Because have you seen Once Upon a Time, Jack?
I have not.
It is the wildest shit. So
I was going to
essentially,
say, if we're going the book club angle, I might be one of those people watching along rather than participating, but yeah.
we could get you to guess for one episode. There are some weird ones. Essentially, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time, it's a show where all the Disney characters get transported into real life and they get brainwashed and they live like normal lives. And then in season 2, they remember everything. And a lot of the show is flashback. Some of it's really, really good. Some of it's fucking awful. And it's really fun to like go through each episode and be like, which one are you? And that is what me, Pat, and Elvis are going to be doing in our new podcast that doesn't have a name yet. Maybe it will eventually. But yeah, that's the end of Moon Knight, bitches. I don't know why I called you bitches, but it is. I hope you enjoyed this, and we got to end on a joke. I don't got one.
I was going to say, you'd think by now we'd be prepping jokes in advance. Every time we get to the end of an episode, you're like, and we're ending with a joke. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, each time we just panic, and I feel like that's funnier. Sometimes I just show my cat to the screen. I have no joke. There is no joke, and that is the joke. You're just sitting there still trying to think.
I was assuming you ended the recording.
Well, I'll end it now. Fuck you.